again, we're Gen Xers. And so I remember the days where you would actually connect with people and you talk to them on the phone. And I try to encourage that with my 14-year-old daughter. I'm like, get on the phone and talk to your friends. Talk to them. Talk to them for 2 hours like I used to talk to my best friends. Get to know them. Have that intimacy with people, because that is so missing in this generation. And I weep for them.
That's what makes us inhumane to each other.
Totally. Like, because we see it. I mean, we've lived it for the past 15 years. It's like when we started our site, we never realized we would get the amount of hate that we did, the death threats. We put 2 guys in jail. I mean, it's like there's the amount of hate that you get from people who don't know you is...
Does it drive you crazy that you'll hear once in a while from a lefty, I published this article, and I mean... I feel like I'm getting hate. I'm getting death threats. And you're like,
welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party. Yeah, that's my life for the last 20 years.
Right, exactly.
You wrote an article and people were mean.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah.
I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
That's when you respond with the meme of Taylor Lorenz crying.
So sorry that happened.
How do you guys deal with that?
We've gotten thick skin.
So much better. Now we have a wall of shame. We just make money off those people.
It's true. That's my favorite.
But at the beginning, it really hurt. It hurt to be called a racist at the beginning. It hurt to be. Oh my gosh, it hurt
because
so bad.
Because we were sincere about it.
Yeah. And now you get called a racist. You're like, whatever. You know, it's like it just doesn't. That word means nothing. Isn't that terrible?
Horrible.
That word means nothing now.
Well. What's worse is it means the opposite to some people.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it means because you're white, you're unforgivable. You're a racist.
Yep.
But you're unforgivable because of what white people have done. You're like, what? I think that's the definition.
Right.
I know it's old school, or at least school.
Yes.
But you know.
And it's like they overuse racist so much that they had to move on to white supremacist. And even we've gotten that.
Oh, we've gotten all the names.
It's crazy. Yeah, we've all the terrible names we've gotten. So now it doesn't really bother us at all, which is weird. Because we actually were really nice people when we started our site.
We're a little more jaded now.
We're a little bit more, a little more thick-skinned. So,
do you ever? Because you are mean machines. Do you ever come across things and you're like, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
There are times I will because I handle our Instagram and she handles our Twitter, and sometimes I will see something and then I'll run it by her and I'll be like, Mom, what do you think? Because
for some reason she thinks I'm going to have a better filter.
Because I'm like, my filter's down. I can't tell today. I don't know about my filter. And so sometimes we'll just run things by each other. And I don't know, are we even good filters for each other? Because
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because we want to say
we
all
run
the
stuff
things
by each other too. Here we end up doing it. It doesn't always work out the best.
But there are glimmers of hope about that, right? When you see the success of Chappelle, or the fact that Shane Gillis was just on SNL doing
that monologue.
Fantastic.
Right. That was,
that gave me hope.
I know. Yes. I thought that was a watershed moment.
Yep. Is comedy coming back?
Yeah. And the one thing authoritarians do not like is comedy.
Yes.
You know, which why Barack Obama was always just portrayed as this nice guy.
Yes.
You know, it's like he's never the butt of a joke. Yeah. Never.
Right. Well, you couldn't do that because racist, right?
Right. And but you can't do it against Biden because it's racist too. But for that to happen, and for him to use words that have been long banned, was shocking and refreshing. You know, we lose our sense of humor.
Yes.
We're done.
I know. We miss the 80s and
There
90s.
was when we first started radio, it was early on, and we were making fun. I don't know, there was a Grammy or award show or whatever, and we had made fun of Miley Cyrus. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so retarded. And oh my gosh, the blow up that happened over that was extraordinary.
And isn't that amazing coming from a mom?
Yes.
Right. And so I felt like I had some moral authority on that topic. So when we started getting the emails, and you know, I never meant anything against people with mental disabilities. That
Right.
word had been, it's like when people say, "Oh, that's so gay."
She just meant
It's
something
the
same
against
thing.
Miley Cyrus.
It is
Yeah,
exactly like the N-word is to the African American community.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
doesn't mean that.
It doesn't. And so I
Exactly.
was stunned at the instant rebuke that I got from so many people. And, we had just started and I got all worried. Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. But we ended up writing an entire chapter about that in our book in 2014, because I was like, you know what, I've got some things to say about this and all of this manipulation of language and this, people not understanding the spirit of intention behind words and instantly just judging you for being some sort of demon.
And also how they changed the rule book.
Right, the rules always
It changes
change
all the time. And it's like, it used to not be that way when we were growing up and when we were in our 20s and 30s. And then they all of a sudden are like, oh, the rules have changed, just FYI.
Yeah.
Well, where's the book?
And I think the last thing
I love the fact that like the language changed overnight. For a period, it seemed like every day there was
Every
a new
day.
word, and everybody on TV knew the word, but I had never even heard the word before.
yeah.
Can you send me the appendix? Because
Right.
I didn't
Right.
get it.
Yeah.
And that's why we finished out that chapter, and there was like a line in it. I'm paraphrasing my own self at this point because I don't remember exactly how we wrote it.
Yes.
But we said something like, my son, and I referred to my son has mental retardation. Miley Cyrus is retarded, and there is a difference. And we were referring to that moment where she brought twerking to the mainstream.
Well,
that was what we were referring to.
I don't think there was a higher cultural moment than that.
Absolutely.
I can see why the rest of the world looks at
Absolutely,
us and
yes.
says, wow.
But that's what Shane Gillis is getting all the heat for using that word in his monologue. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, I just really felt like you said, like that was a watershed moment. And maybe people are starting to come around and not be so insane.
And loosen up.
Yeah.
So I remember when political correctness back in the late 80s, early 90s started, and it was like, handicapable. If it's handicapable,
Yeah.
in one generation, it will mean the same thing as
Right.
handicap. What are you
Exactly.
doing? But I don't remember what they were, but there were a few things that I'm like, okay, well, if that makes people feel better, that's fine. I don't care. Boy, what a mistake that was.
Yeah.
What a mistake that was. Because
It's
we
just,
gave
there's
people
like a spiral.
permission.
Yeah.
Change the language, control the conversation.
Yes.
That's exactly right. And then there was differently abled. And I mean, there's so many ridiculous words. And, as a mom of a kid with special needs, I think that's another way of saying, at some point, I just want to just be able to say things and not have to worry, who am I offending? Whose toes am I stepping on? What's the correct word du jour?
Yeah.
It's all such
and
nonsense.
she was like, all of this manipulation is retarded.
exactly. Yeah, it
That's
is.
basically what you were
It's
thinking.
gay and retarded.
It is.
So
We're so never coming back to the show again.
the opinions of the guest are not necessarily.
We're never coming back. We're never
No, you're
coming
welcome
back.
here anytime. I will tell you though, I have 4 children. 2 of my daughters they look at me all the time because I'll say, "That is so retarded,"
Yeah.
and they look at me,
Dad,
"Dad,
you can't say that.
don't say that word
Yeah.
anymore."
We
And-
have that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have that too.
I have
Oh,
that
yeah.
too. Yeah. And my daughter's, for all intents and purposes, she's pretty conservative. I would say she's a conservative kid, but there are things you can't say now.
I know. So let me ask you this question. Because I just turned 60, so I'm older than you guys. And I'm like, well, I remember my grandpa, and he was 65. And he would say, and I'd go, "Grandpa, you can't say
can't
that
say
anymore."
that.
And you really couldn't. And he was like,
He's Archie Bunker.
right. And I'm like, gosh, am I just not recognizing it now? And I am my
Yeah, but
grandfather.
don't you, like my husband's 60, but once you get to a certain age, because
You
I feel
don't
like,
care.
well, I think you get a pass. I think that's,
I don't think I'm there
Oh, she-
yet.
really?
I think
think-
that used to be 60.
I think 55. I think once you get to like a certain age, you're like, you know what, I can say what I want. Y'all can bugger off.
Yeah,
I
I think
She said
I like
bugger.
that, and I'm pushing for that.
I think we should all
I'm
push
pushing
for it.
that.
I think at
Yeah.
this table we should
Yeah,
just decide.
okay. All right,
if they
good.
get to decide on language, we get to decide on that, you guys. Yeah.
It's well before the age of our president. I'll just say that.
Yes.
And everybody
indeed.
goes, it's
Everything.
Grandpa. He just, it bothers me that's what we have our State Department saying
Exactly.
that he's old. Don't
He's
take him.
very well-meaning, though.
Yeah.
Just give him some ice cream.
Yeah.